I don't know how I'm supposed to follow a performance like that.
我不知道在孩子有静台演出之后，我该怎么来给大家来讲这个道。
But I would like to thank the worship team for doing a great job at worship this morning. Thank you very much.
感谢神今天敬拜小组给我们带来一个非常好的敬拜。
So who is excited about the new school year? Anybody?
在座的有多少人因着新的学期开始感到非常的兴奋？
Okay, see a few people. I see some parents raise their hands. They're happy to have the kids gone to school.
我看到很多父母也举手，孩子要去上学了，可以稍微的轻松一下。
There's no shame in being excited about the new school year.
我们新学期开始了，其实我们很开心，一点没有什么羞耻的。
Has anybody noticed a difference in our quiet little village of Stillwater?
不知道大家有没有觉得，在我们安静的小镇上有什么不一样没有？
If you go to Walmart, you can find nothing.
如果你去沃尔玛的话，你发现好像很多东西卖完了，
It's all gone.
都卖掉了。
I feel like it's the biblical equivalent of when the plague swept through Egypt and the locusts ate everything.
就让我想起了在这个出埃及记里面讲到说，当这个饥荒临到了埃及的时候，好像蝗虫把所有的东西都吃光了一样。
My wife made me go to Walmart this week.
这个礼拜我和我太太会去沃尔玛。
And I witnessed two students fighting over a laundry basket.
我看到有两个学生他们在争着买一个这个洗衣筐。
It was the last laundry basket.
那是最后一个洗衣筐。
And it was pink.
而且是粉红色的。
And they were boys.
两个是男生，他们在争一个粉红色的洗衣筐。
But that's life in Stillwater.
那就是我们在这个小镇上的生活就这个样子。
Is anyone here new to Stillwater? Please raise your hand. I
我
won't
们在座
embarrass
哪
you.
些人是新来到净水城小镇上，第一次来？
Any
新
new
来的
people?，Welcome.
请你
Welcome
举
to
手，好吧？
Stillwater.
请举手
Yes,
我们
yes.
欢迎你们。
It's okay. You don't have to point.
OK，
We're glad you're here.
我们非常高兴你来到我们当中。
I have two things to tell you.
我有两件事要告诉你。
Number one, it will never be this green in August ever again.
我们现在这个季节是最绿的时候。
It is normally brown.
因为有时候干旱的时候会有黄色。
And don't get used to the rain coming every day. It will stop.
你也觉得最近如果雨很多的话，其实也是非常态啊，很快雨季就会结束的。
But we're glad you're here.
但是我们很高兴你来到我们当中。
And we're very glad to see you here at the Chinese church.
我非常高兴能来到我们华人教会。
Okay, let's get to the actual message.
好，今天让我跟大家来分享这样一段信息。
Today we're talking about the book of Ecclesiastes.
今天我跟大家讲的经文呢是在传道书。
Now this is a very interesting book.
这是一个非常有意思的一部书。
Because it was written by Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, according to the Bible.
因为这本书的作者是所罗门，是一个在世上最有智慧的一个人，他写的这部书。
Solomon actually gave us the set of books in the Bible that's referred to as the wisdom books.
因为所罗门给我们一系列的书，这些书被称之为智慧书。
The first of the wisdom books is Proverbs.
第一本智慧书就是箴言。
Now, if you somehow struggle to want to read your Bible every day, Proverbs is a great place to start.
如果你觉得读圣经对你来讲有些困难的话，那读箴言会对你来讲是一个很好的起点。
Because if you read just one chapter of Proverbs every day,
如果你每一天读一章箴言，
you can read through the entire book of Proverbs in 1 month.
那么你就可以在一整月里面就把这个箴言书读完了。
For example, today is the 26th, so you would read Proverbs chapter 26.
举个例子，今天是8月26号，那我们就读箴言26章。
And if you get lost or you forget a day or two, you don't have to worry about it. You just pick the chapter for the day it is.
如果你后来忘记了你读了哪些章节也没关系，那你就看今天是哪一天，你就读相对应的那一章就可以了。
When I find myself needing some encouragement and some wisdom, I go to Proverbs.
当我觉得我自己需要一些鼓励，需要一些智慧的时候，我就来读箴言书。
Then there's the book of Ecclesiastes.
另外就是传道书。
Now there's two different views on the book of Ecclesiastes.
传道书有两种不同的观点来看。
The first view is that everything is meaningless.
有一个观点就是说万事都没有意义。
Now that's a little bit depressing.
这让听起来感到非常的沮丧。
The second view is that only true meaning is found in a relationship with God.
那第二个比较积极的这样一个观点，就是说是真正的人生意义是从神那里能够寻找到的。
Now that makes a little more sense.
对我们来讲，就让我们有一些觉得有些意义在里面。
Then there's Solomon's third book.
那还有就是所罗门第3本书。
Quite possibly the most, what's the word I'm looking for, provocative book in Scripture. Racy?
在圣经第3部书
Scandalous. Sorry, okay.
在第3部书就是雅各，是一个很容易引起这样一个话题的一部书。
It was so different from all the other books in the Bible that it almost didn't get put into the Bible when they compiled the Bible.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
It was so different from all the other books, they almost didn't put it in the Bible.
这3部书跟其他书放在收录在圣经的书好像很不一样。
And the book of the Song of Solomon, sometimes it's referred to as the Song of Songs.
在这个所罗门的这个雅各书就被称之为所罗门之歌。
It's about relationships.
是关于关系的。
Not just any relationship, but the male-female marriage relationship.
不是任何的关系，乃是一个在婚姻当中男女之间的关系。
There's also some dating that happens in the book.
也讲到是恋爱期间的关系。
And there's 2 chapters devoted to fighting.
有2章呢是讲到这个男女之间的一些争吵。
So I encourage you, if you've never looked at Solomon's book, The Song of Solomon, please crack it open and take a look.
如果你还没有看过雅各书的话，我建议你有机会把雅各书来看一下。
So back to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1.
好，今天让我们来看今天的经文，传道书第3章。
Solomon says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens.
所罗门说，凡事都有定期，天下万物都有定时。
Now, for quite a long time now, I've actually held the idea that God and heaven exist outside of time.
我在很久以前就有一个这样一个想法，说是神和神所在的这样一个天堂是存在于时间以外的这样空间里。
Now, I got this idea from Genesis when God creates day and night.
当我学习这个创世纪的时候，我好像有这样一个理解。
And I'm going to be very clear with you. This is not a fact. This is Matt's theory on the idea that God exists outside of time.
我想大家明白，这是我自己的一个理论，并不一定是一个事实。
But verse 3:1 jumped out to me because it supported my theory that it said there is a time for everything under heaven.
但是这个3章1节呢，好像就对我的这样一个理论或这样理解是有一定的这样的支持的作用。
This is one of those difficult concepts I like to refer to as three-dimensional thinking.
所以这也是我给大家分享的一个关于一个比较难以理解的一个3维的一种思维方式。
See, most of us walk around and we live in a two-dimensional world.
当我们在四周游走的时候，我们是生活在一种2维空间里。
We see things that make perfect sense to us and fit into a category in our minds.
当我们看到一些事情之后呢，如果对我们来讲我们可以理解。
But every now and then something pops up that's three-dimensional, that challenges our minds and what we know and the way we think.
但是偶尔会出现一些高维空间的事情，或者一些物品会让我们感到有些不好理解，有些对我们来讲有些挑战。
And this is one of those concepts.
这就是今天我们要讲的一些概念。
That God could actually exist separate from time as we know it.
也就是说，神可以在这个时间空间之外，神可以存在。
But it's way too early in the semester to be figuring that out, so we'll move on.
所以，但是这个话题太深奥了，在刚开学的时候，我想不用在这上面花太多的时间，让我们继续以下的经文。
And the question I have for you today is, how do we view time?
那我对大家一个问题来讲，就是说，大家你们是对时间怎么来看的？
Is time a resource to be used and invested wisely?
时间是一种资源，你可以来投资，然后使用的非常的明智吗？
Or is time a sense of stress in your life?
或者时间对你来讲是一种压力，是一种煎熬？
Meaning every day you look at the clock and you say, I don't have enough time to get everything done.
或者每一天当你看到这时钟的时候，你会觉得好像今天我时间不够用，让我把我没办法所有的事情要做完。
Or my personal favorite, is time the excuse you use to tell yourself that you aren't able to do certain things?
对我来讲，时间就是一种借口， 告诉我有些事情我是做不了。
If I only had more time, I could do what that person does.
那如果我会说，如果有更多时间，也许我就能做得像那个人一样好。
Let's look at verse 2.
让我们看第2节。
It says, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot.
生有时，死有时，栽种有时，拔出所栽种的也有时。
As many of you know, my family is in the birth business.
大家也许知道，我们整个家族呢，都是有这个跟生产有关系的生意。
My wife is a doula, and she helps people and families in birthing children.
那我的妻子 Alena 她经常帮助一些即将有生产的这种家庭。
And I have a bunch of cows that I assist in birthing baby calves.
那我有很多的母牛我经常会辅助这些母牛生产这些小牛犊。
Now, in all honesty, Elena does a lot more work than me.
我很诚实跟大家讲，Alena 的工作要比我的多很多，繁重很多。
And the reason for that is because her patients can talk back to her.
因为对她来讲的话，她所照顾的这些小 baby 可以跟她来回应，跟她能讲话。
And really, all I do is just feed and house a bunch of cows and a horse.
对我来讲，我就是来喂这些牛犊，喂这些母牛。
You know, on the farm we see a lot of different seasons come and go.
在农场里面，我们看到各种各样的季节，来来去去。
And it's about time to start planting a crop known as wheat. Start planting the grain that bread is made from. Sorry, this is not in the notes.
That's okay. 我们现在这个季节又开始要种一些小麦。
And you can do everything right in planting something in the ground.
你可以在地上 ，sorry.
You can do everything right to plant it in the ground.
你在种地的时候，你可以确保你每一步都是做得很对的。
But sometimes it still doesn't grow.
但是到后来，有可能你的庄稼还是没有收成。
You see, I do all the work, but God is the one that makes it grow.
所以让大家明白，尽管我做很多的这些农场的事情来种植这些庄稼，但是唯有神让这些庄稼来成长。
And the same is true in our spiritual lives.
对我们的属灵的生命来讲，也一样有这个道理一样是真实的。
There may be somebody that we're trying to share the gospel with, and we've told them many times about who Jesus is.
我们可能跟有些人分享了很多次福音，跟他们讲耶稣是谁。
But at the end of the day, it's God that has to speak to their heart.
但是最终还是神亲自对他说话。
Recently this week, I was reminded about how short life can be.
最近时间里，让我一件事情发生，让我特别觉得人生真的很短暂。
A local banker friend of mine died suddenly from a heart attack.
在当地的一个我的朋友，他是个银行家，他最近因为心脏病突发过世了。
He was 50 years old.
他50岁。
His 2 daughters had just left home and gone to college.
他有2个女儿刚刚上大学。
And he had 1 son left at home.
他有1个儿子还在家里。
And he was telling me he was excited because he was getting to the point in his life where he could actually focus on what he wanted to do.
他曾经跟我分享说，他感到很兴奋，因为他终于可以觉得有精力做一些自己想做的事情了。
But now he's gone and his family is left to continue on their own.
但是现在他人走了，那他的家庭现在就是在没有他的情况下来继续以下的日子。
Let's look at verse 3.
让我们看到第3节。
We see a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance.
杀戳有时，医治有时，拆毁有时，建造有时，哭有时，笑有时，哀动有时，跳舞有时。
So much quicker in Chinese. In verse 3, we see something that I find very interesting.
这段经文对我来讲很有意思。
The idea of a time to kill actually refers to how God's people covered their sin at this time.
这里面讲到说的是杀戮有时，指的是神如何借着这样一个被杀的一个祭物来遮盖我们的罪。
You see, at that time, they were actually still using the sacrifice system.
因为在那个所罗门当时都还是用的是一个祭司的系统。
And so a time to kill had a real life meaning.
当我们杀祭牲的时候，实际上是一个非常重要的一个意义。
Now, if you're new to this idea, I'll give you a brief overview.
如果你知道这个祭祀制度的话，我给你一个大概的一个简介。
In the Old Testament, before Jesus came, Christians were required to bring sacrifices for sin.
Jews. 在耶稣基督降生之前，犹太人他们需要带来祭牲来遮盖他们在神面前的罪。
And so you would bring an animal to the temple, and it would be killed to cover your sins.
当你把一些祭牲带到这样一个圣殿前的时候，这些祭牲被杀戮，然后这些祭牲的血可以遮盖你的罪。
And so this idea of seeing something killed because of your sin was fresh in their minds.
所以当这些祭牲被杀的时候，这些景象对于这些人来讲是蛮有生动的一个形象在他们脑海当中。
You see, we don't have that now because Jesus came. We just have to ask God for forgiveness.
所以现在我们没有这样一个祭祀的制度，因为耶稣来了。我们通过相信耶稣，我们可以求神的赦免。
You see, I actually think the second half of verse 3 also applies to our church currently.
我们看到这个第3节的后面一部分，也很适合我们现在目前教会的光景。
Because we're in the middle of a physical building project. It's time for our church to physically build a building.
因为现在我们的教会正在建立一个新堂，也是我们该是时候拥有自己的一个堂。
And that's very exciting.
对我们来讲是非常兴奋的一件事情。
Then we move on to verse 5 and 6, and it gets a little confusing here. I'm going to warn you.
让我们看到第5节和第6节的时候，可能这个经文让我们觉得有一点困惑。
In verse 5, he says, "A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." Then he says, "A time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away."
抛掷石头有时，堆聚石头有时，怀抱有时，不怀抱有时，寻找有时，失落有时，保守有时，舍弃有时。
As I was preparing for this message, I was doing it on my computer, and I accidentally lost the whole thing.
当我准备这段信息的时候，我在电脑上敲这样一个讲道稿，但是一不小心，我所有东西都丢掉了。
And I did what everyone does when they lose something on the computer.
我就做所有的人会做同样的事情。
I wasted about 30 minutes trying to find it.
那我就是大概浪费了30分钟去找我丢失的东西。
Finally, I realized maybe God wants better. I'll just start over.
后来我终于意识到了，也许神让我准备一个更好的，所以我就从头来过。
And so this idea of a time to search and a time to give up was very real to me.
所以这个讲到说是寻找有时，失落有时，对我来讲，还有保守有时，舍弃有时，对我来讲非常有实际的这样一个意义。
And the truth is, I probably spent longer searching than it would have taken me to rewrite what I had.
事实上，我花了更多的时间去找，如果是重写的话，也许不用花那么多时间。
But the verse I like best in this section is actually the verse about the time to search for stones and the time to not search for stones.
但这段时间里面，这段经文里面对我印象最深的就是抛掷石头有时，堆聚石头有时。
I'm sorry, not search, gather stones. So this has many interpretations.
这一经文有很多意思。
But the one I like best refers to things.
有很多解释，但我最喜欢的解释是这样的。
If you think about it, what good are stones actually?
大家如果讲一下的话，石头有什么用处没有？
I don't know if this is true in Asian culture, but in American culture, there are actually people that collect rocks.
我不知道在亚洲的文化是怎么样的情况。在美国，有些人他们的嗜好就专门收集一些石头。
Do Chinese people do that?
你们中国人做这些事吗？
I'm getting yes, no, maybe. Okay, some. All right, good. Special stones. Okay, all right.
收集一些特殊的石头。
Don't worry, we think ours are special too.
我们也告诉你，我们的石头也是很特别的。
For the record, I do not collect rocks.
我告诉大家，我其实并不收集石头。
But I have another problem. I like to collect other things.
但是呢，对我来讲，尽管我不收集石头，但我喜欢收集别的东西。
In fact, it's probably a sickness on some level.
但是这个到一定程度，可能有一点病态的这样一个状况。
The English word for this is hoarder. I don't know what the Chinese word is. Somebody who gathers too much stuff.
就是可能有一些 过激了，就是已经有点过分了。
So I will spend hours on Craigslist looking around.
我会在这个 Craigslist， 就像那个在线的跳蚤市场，我会收集一些东西，会收集几个小时。
And if I can convince myself that I might someday use it,
如果我能够说服自己，这件东西我可能将来会用到。
and if I'm buying it cheaper than I can find on Amazon or Alibaba,
如果我能够在这个跳蚤市场买的比在 Amazon 或者是阿里巴巴买的要便宜的话，
I will likely buy it.
很有可能我就买了。
So don't send me pictures of your junk. I will buy it.
不要给我发一些照片，你要处理的东西，我很有可能会买。
But my wife came to me last night and she reminded me it's a time to clean and get rid of things again.
终于昨天我的太太跟我讲话说，我该是收拾我的这些所收集的东西了，应该清理一些了。
Which brings me to verses 7 and 8.
这也是把我带到了这个第7节和第8节。
A time to tear and a time to mend.
撕裂有时，缝补有时。
A time to be silent and a time to speak.
静默有时，言语有时。
A time for love and a time for hate.
喜爱有时，恨恶有时。
A time for war and a time for peace.
征战有时，和好有时。
Why is it I feel like these particular verses refer to marriage and dating relationships?
为什么我会把这个经文呢？也是作为一个关于婚姻关系当中可以遵循的一些原则。
You see, I feel like there's a parallel between verses 7 and 8.
我看到在第7节和第8节里面存在一个平行的关系。
You see, if you take the first part of verse 7 and the second part of verse 8, they kind of fit together.
如果你把这个第7节的第一部分和第8节的第2部分对在一起的话，你就发现它们似乎存在一种对应的关系。
And so it's a time to tear and a time to mend.
撕裂有时，缝补有时。
I'm sorry, not the second part of verse 8, the first part of verse 8.
不是对不起，是第一部分的第8节的第一部分和第7节的第一部分。
And you have a time to love and a time to hate.
喜爱有时，恨恶有时。
You see, if it's a time to tear, you're most likely going to end up in a time to hate.
也就是说，当你撕裂东西的时候，很有可能就是恨恶的时候。
But if it's a time to mend, you're most likely going to end up in a time to love.
当缝补有时的时候，可能就是你喜爱的时候。
And the second half of the verses line up rather nicely as well.
第2部分的这个经文也有存在这样一种很好的对应关系。
You see, with a time to be silent, we often see a time for war.
当我们看到有这个静默有时的时候，很有可能就是快要有征战了。
But if you're like me and it's a time to speak, it's a time for peace.
对我来讲，当我们有言语的时候，很可能就是我们和好的时候。
Except for when I say something that's wrong and then it turns into a war.
但是例外就是当我说了一些错事的时候，在家里可能就是产生了一场征战。
By the way, this last week I have a short story for you.
在过去一个星期呢，我有一个很小的故事跟大家分享。
I'm going to apologize, Edward. I did not tell you about this. I apologize. June, I'm sorry. Anyway, this last week we're at dinner with some friends of ours.
上个礼拜呢，我跟我们一些朋友在一起吃晚饭。
And my wife gets up and leaves to go to the restroom.
我的妻子呢，她起来去洗手间。
My friend's wife then looks at me and says, Matt, Sprouts has roses on sale.
然后我的朋友就对我说 ，Sprout 这个店现在的玫瑰花正在大减价。
For $5 you can buy 12 roses.
5块钱你可以买12朵玫瑰。
I said, thank you very much.
我告诉他非常谢谢你。
So the next day I run to Sprouts and I buy roses.
所以第2天我就去 Sprout 买了玫瑰。
And I text several of my friends.
所以我给我的朋友就发这个短信。
That are cheap and have wives. Okay. That's why I didn't text you, Edward. You're not cheap. Anyway, good news. Sprouts has roses on sale for $5. Get some for your wife.
我的短信里就说是现在好消息，Sprout 这个店现在玫瑰大减价，赶紧给你的妻子买一束花。
My wife, when she saw the roses, said, "Did you go to Sprouts?"
当我的妻子看到玫瑰之后，就问我：“你是否去 Sprout 买的？”
And I said, "Yes."
我告诉她：“是的。”
But I'll have you know, those are not the $5 roses; those are $10 roses.
但我告诉她，我买的不是5块钱的，是10块钱的。
Now, my confession is, that I made them sell them to me for 5, but they were supposed to be 10. That's okay.
All
right.
我就要给大家讲的就是这些玫瑰花是原本要卖10块钱，我让他们用5块钱卖给了我。
Next time I'll text you about the roses. Okay. I think it's easy to say that in all of us are in one of the parts of the 8 verses that we've read today.
我相信我们在座弟兄姐妹总会有一个经文，今天我们读的8节经文里面有一节经文是专门为你预备的。
And you may find yourself in different parts of different verses multiple times throughout the day.
也许你会在一天里面经历到不同经文的那样一种对你的一种影响。
You may be tearing down and being silent all at the same time.
也许你就在撕裂的时候，也会有这样一个安静的时候。
You see, the point of the discussion today about Ecclesiastes chapter 3 is, are we being intentional about where we choose to use the time that God has given us?
那我今天给大家分享这个关于时间的经文，主要的用意是想让大家去了解，当我们去选择如何使用时间的时候，我们是如何考量。
Or are we letting the world dictate where we go and how we spend our time?
是让我们自己去仔细的使用呢，还让这样一个潮流、周围的环境来控制我们如何使用我们的时间？
And this brings me to our last question.
那这就给我们带来最后一个我要问大家的一个问题：
Where will we spend eternity?
我们将来在哪里度过我们的永生？
Some people see death as the end of time,
有的人会认为死亡是时间的结束。
which is accurate as far as your time here on earth.
那么这句话呢，在某种程度上也是准确的。如果从在地上的眼光来讲的话，这句话是对的。
But our spirit does not die. Our spirit continues to live on.
但是呢，我们的灵魂却没有死亡，我们的灵魂会有继续。
The question is, if you were to die today, do you know where you would go? Would you go to heaven for your spirit to be with God, or would you go to hell and be separated from Him?
所以对于大家，你要问自己的问题，就是说，如果我们今天离开这个世界，我们灵魂是到天堂与神相聚呢，还是到地狱与神分离？
And if you know for sure that you would go to heaven to be with God, that is fantastic. There's more for us to do.
那么，如果是你确定说将来，若是我离开这个世界，我会与神在一起，那我恭喜你。但我们有很多的事情需要做。
But if you're not sure where you would go today, please come up and talk with Edward or myself or anybody you've seen up on stage today. We'd be happy to talk with you about how you can know for sure that you would go to heaven.
但若是你不确定的话，那么非常欢迎你跟我们教会的任何弟兄姐妹，包括我们跟你们讲关于这样福音的道理。
Now, if we know for certain that we're going to spend eternity with God,
如果我们确定我们自己将来离开这个世界会与神在一起，有永生的话，
the question for us is, are we doing all we can to tell everybody around us how they too can know for sure?
所以我要问大家一个问题，那么我们是否会给我们周围的朋友们分享关于这样一个永生的话题，让他们也能有机会能够与神和好，得到永生？
Are we telling them that all you have to do is trust in Jesus Christ for eternal life?
你对他们所讲的福音的时候，是否告诉他们，他们所要做的就是来信靠耶稣？
And that this actually begins a relationship that will continue to grow over time.
那这样一个信靠就给我们带来我们人与神的关系这个关系也可以不断的成长。
Or are we too busy with our own projects to share this simple truth?
或者是我们变得非常的忙碌，我们只是给别人分享一些次要的一些真理。
You see, I actually went to a strange event yesterday that I feel like lines up very closely with this concept we're talking about.
我要给大家讲，昨天我就去了一个非常特别的一个地方，跟我今天所讲的经文很有关系。
Did anybody in here go to the OSU bike auction yesterday?
What auction?
OSU bicycle auction.
在座弟兄姐妹有谁去了昨天 OSU 举办的自行车的一个拍卖会？
I'm shocked.
我很惊讶。
I feel like we should announce this to the church. You wanted to, but you forgot? Oh, you went to show her an auction. Very good, very good. That's a great cultural experience.
这是一个很好的一个文化上的一种体验。
So I went to the OSU bike auction.
所以我去了 OSU 的自行车的这个拍卖会。
Not that I need a bicycle. We have 3 bicycles and only 2 people in our house.
我不需要自行车，我们家有3个自行车，我们家只有2个人。
You see, my wife likes to ride bikes with visitors. It's very strange. Anyway.
我太太喜欢跟一些朋友骑自行车 ，strangers。
No, not strangers. Visitors.
visitor， 跟一些朋友来造访的朋友们骑自行车去。
She probably would. She'd ride bike with anything. So yeah, at the bicycle auction, there were 400 bicycles that had been abandoned on campus that the police had taken possession of.
在那个拍卖会上有400个自行车是警察从校园里面收集起来的。
Now there were 500 people there.
那里有500个人。
So just by the numbers, 100 people went home with nothing.
那就是说，如果看这个数字的话，有100个人回去将是手中空空回去的。
I actually went just because I wanted to go and see what it was.
我就想去看一看。
Now, as you well know, because of my Craigslist addiction, I couldn't come home empty-handed.
所以大家知道我有一个这样一个在跳蚤市场买东西的这样一个毛病，所以你可以想象，我可能不会是空手回家的。
I bought 4 cell phones, 2 watches, and 2 jump drives. This is one of the watches.
4个手机，2个手机 jump drive。
Thumb drive, USB.
这个还买了这个 USB 的这个盘。U 盘。
But as I was looking out across all this abandoned stuff,
当我看到这些被人遗弃的自行车
it occurred to me, this is a great picture of how we go into the world.
所以这样一个场景呢，让我想到将来我们离开这个世界的时候，会是怎样一个场面呢？
You see, you and I are like the new bicycle from Walmart that found a good home. I know, just go with it. We're like a new bicycle someone purchased from Walmart that has a good home.
如果说我们把我们自己比作是刚从沃尔玛买出来的新的自行车
You see, God has welcomed us back into a relationship with Him.
所以神把我们邀请到他的关系当中
We have a nice place to go every night because we know that if we die, we're going to go to be with our Heavenly Father.
我们知道每一天我们都知道我们若是离开这个世界我们将来去哪里
But you see, all these bicycles that were abandoned were like all of our friends that don't know God, and they don't know they're going to go to heaven.
但是这些被遗弃的自行车就像那些不认识神的人他们将来就没有去处了
But with just a little bit of effort, we could help them understand who God is.
但是若是我们稍微有一些用心的话他们就可能有一个不同的结局
You see, no bicycle yesterday sold for more than you could buy it at Walmart. That would be ridiculous.
所有这昨天的自行车没有一个说是比在沃尔玛的新自行车价钱要贵
And you see, the amount of effort that we have to put forth to share the gospel with someone is very small.
也就是说我们其实跟别人分享福音的时候我们所要做的努力其实微不足道的
Just like the price that those bicycles sold for, very, very small.
也就像那些被遗弃的自行车所卖的价钱一样是非常低价位的一个代价
But now those bicycles are useful again.
那如今这些自行车重新有了价值
And all these people that we know that don't know God and don't understand how He can improve and build up our lives can have a different meaning.
所以就是那些还不认识神的人他们就可以有一个全新的一个生命他们能够了解生命的意义能够跟神建立新的关系
This comes back to our idea of Ecclesiastes.
所以这就让我们回到这样一个传道书的这样一本书
You see, apart from God, everything is meaningless.
如果是离开了神万物都没有意义
But only true meaning in life is found from God.
而从上帝那里我们可以寻找到生命中真正的意义
You see, I have one summary for us about today's message.
所以今天我要有一个简单的一个总结
We're all born into different areas with different talents.
我们所有的人都是出生在不同地方我们有不同的恩赐
But the one thing we all have in common is the time that God gives us here on this earth.
但是我们所有人所共有的一样东西就是神给我们的时间在地上的时间
And we have time during the day and the freedom to do whatever we want.
我们在每一天都有自己的自由选择我们要做什么不做什么
And so are we using that time to invest into growing closer to God and telling other people about Him?
当我们在花时间去培养我们跟神之间的关系帮助别人建立跟神之间的关系的时候
Or are we distracted by new shiny things?
或者说我们不会被一些 外在的东西所吸引了我们的注意力。
Let me close this in a word of prayer.
让我们一同祷告。
God, we thank you for the time you've given us here today.
亲爱的神，主耶稣，感谢你给我们今天这段时间。
We pray that you would help us to be ever mindful that life is short.
这是帮助我们能够思想说，我们的生命是短暂的。
And that our time here on earth is limited.
我们在地上的时间也是有限的。
And that we should use to invest it wisely.
我们应该更好的去使用我们的时间。
And if there are people around us that don't know you, help us to be examples of your love to them.
若是我们生命当中周围有没有认识你的人，求你帮助我们成为一个好的榜样。
Give us courage to share about your love and the relationship we have with you.
给我们这个勇气，让我们去跟别人去分享神的爱。
Help us to know how to minister to those around us.
帮助我们看到我们生命当中需有哪些神又给我们预备的事工。
And help us to grow closer to you in the process.
也帮助我们在主里面能更好的成长。
All these things we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
我们奉主耶稣基督的名求。
Amen.